Laser sights will make you a more accurate and confident shooter by providing visual feedback on sight alignment and trigger control. Crimson Trace, making laser sights standard equipment. Learn more at crimsontrace.com.
Hey everybody, it's Tom Gresham, and yes, it is Christmas Day, and we let everybody have the day off, of course, as we should. And for a treat for you, we've pulled together some of the best parts of the after show for your enjoyment. So a warm Merry Christmas to all of you. Enjoy this after show. Don't look now. Hide the women and children. It is the after show. Hi, guys.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Dad.
Jim and Michelle are here.
Woo-hoo.
What's the story I hear about you selling a whole bunch of those Rugers? Are they just loving your gun, Michelle?
Oh, yes, it's a very unique opportunity. I was sharing with Jim the fact that I have been able to place that firearm in the hands of many women who have come into our store asking about pistols and where to start and something easy and something that doesn't scare them. It's been a phenomenal option to present to them, and it's a popular pistol in our area again. So, again, thank you.
Ruger's new, what are the LCR,
LCR,
the light compact revolver, LCR, but specifically chambered for the .327 Federal cartridge, right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay. Cool. That is so what happens? They handle it, they shoot it, and they buy it?
Yeah, because they're like, oh my gosh, I put .32 Smith & Wesson long wad cutter ammunition into it, and I always tell them, I want a woman to be comfortable in our world. I want you to get more education, and I want you to have something that I know is not going to scare you and prevent you from further education. And they go out to our pistol range because we have that ability at our store to take them right there at the time and give them 6 shots. And I said, you're going to know in 1 or 2. And then just shoot the others for fun. And that's really what ends up happening. And then it's just like, oh my gosh, I love it. Because it's easy to function.
Yeah.
It's great.
Now, do you have the laser on yours?
I do have the laser on mine. And it is...
That's a nice combination.
Rub it in.
Yeah, I know, Jim. But it is a great tool.
It is, Jim. You could have a laser. You're just cheap.
That's it. I have to buy another gun first because the other one's gone.
Oh, that's right. Somebody stole your gun. I forgot.
Something like that.
I know where it went.
Yeah.
So if you just go find your wife and you'll find your gun.
Yeah. I'm afraid you're right on.
She took it. Well, speaking of women who are looking for a gun, our first caller here on line 3, Christy's calling in from Grand Haven, Michigan. Hey, Christy.
Hi. Well, you had asked on your program if anyone was buying a gun because of Obama and what was going on, and I definitely bought a gun for that reason. My husband's owned guns all his life. I mean, he got his first BB gun when he was 3. So he's had, multiple guns and has multiple guns, but I've never thought about it. I always thought, I don't need a gun. There's no reason. But I see that, all of our rights are just kind of being taken away. And I just started to wonder, will I even be able to get one in a year? Even next month. And when the attacks in France happened, I don't know, something really motivated me. And I told my husband that day, I said, I'm getting a gun. And we went out that week, and I bought a .38. And I can't say I'm that happy with it. I think I probably made the wrong choice, but that's what I have for now.
Okay. Well, you know what? That's a great attitude, because that is exactly what happens. That's what I have for now, because you can either get another one in addition, or you can get a different one. You can trade or sell that one. So you're not stuck. Let me ask you this question. What is it about the .38 that you're not crazy about?
Well, I have just a little bit, I'm fairly young, but I still have a little bit of arthritis in my left hand, and I'm a left-handed shooter. So it just seems to take too much effort to pull that trigger. So it's just, when I fire my husband's .22, it's so easy. Right. And then when I fire the .38, it's so hard. And I don't know. But my husband says it's great if you use a .22. But in a life or death situation, Is a 22 useful? I don't know.
Well, yes, absolutely, it's useful. Now, is it enough? We won't know until we get there. Let me ask you a quick question. What brand revolver did you buy?
It's a Smith & Wesson.
Smith & Wesson, okay. And they make good quality products, but I know exactly what you're talking about. The trigger pull may be a little bit much if you have arthritis because it's a double-action trigger pull. And, of course, you're getting the recoil of a 38, which leads me back to, at this point, I'm going to step aside and let you talk to Michelle. Michelle, you have the floor.
You probably just heard us discussing, one of the new little revolvers that Ruger puts out. It's called the LCR. It's in a .327 Magnum, and that is a double action only pistol, but the way they have designed the gun is extremely easy to pull the trigger. It's not anything that's extremely difficult, but I would say it may be too much for you still. And there's always an option of doing something if you have a gunsmith in your area called a trigger job. And they can go in there and they can lighten by changing the angles on parts, the amount of pull, the amount of actual finger pulling back that trigger that it takes to make the firearm go off.
Now, if you do that, what are the chances that, you're carrying it and it just goes off more suddenly? Or my son gets a hold of it and something happens. That's what makes me nervous.
How old is your son? Okay. There should never be a time, literally never be a time when he could physically get his hands on that gun.
I agree, but I'm saying in the worst case circumstance, something happens.
Okay. Worst case circumstance, you do not want to have a gun where you say, I want a gun that's really hard for me to shoot as a way of protecting my son should he pick up the gun. That's just a real backward way to approach it. I'm just telling you, you're either in control of your gun and it's right there with you, or it's locked up so that he can't get it. And by locked up, I mean like one of these little gun vault type small metal box. It's easy to, you can get into it in 2 seconds. If you needed to.
Yes.
And let me put you at ease, too, Christy. We're not talking about being able to have a trigger to what is called a hair trigger, where all you have to do is breathe on the firearm and it'll go off. We're saying it's going to be reduced to the amount where it's comfortable. There's a safety spot that really no one's going to go underneath.
It's still going to be safe.
Right. And this is where your training is going to come into play. When you pull that gun from a holster, your finger shouldn't automatically go onto that trigger. It should go right onto the side of the frame until you're on target or have that target in your sights, and then you automatically go to that trigger. So
specifically what Michelle is saying is your finger quite literally should never touch the trigger until your sights are on the target and you've made a conscious decision to shoot. You shouldn't have your finger even touching the trigger until that point. One of the opportunities here might be to, instead of a revolver, you may want to consider a semi-auto, a 380 specifically, because that has a lighter trigger pull. It's easier for a lot of people to operate. The only issue there is learning how to operate the slide, and that's not so much strength as it is technique, where you pull the gun in and you work the slide. Something Smith & Wesson has a bodyguard. And I would probably go for a 380. What do you think, Michelle?
I would recommend to her that the possibility is there to get into a 380 for sure. That's probably one of the easiest places to fall in line, if you will, because with that 380, they're small, which is what most people are after. And like you say, Tom, they're fairly easy to handle as far as the slides go. Can be a little difficult. SIG makes some that are a little bit easier than others. Some have lasers already built into them, some don't. But Christy, I would say to you, is there a store in your area that has a range, or that you are comfortable with the salespeople recommending a gun and then actually being able to try that? Because I think that is what's imperative here. I think you have to try it so you don't have any kind of buyer remorse.
Right.
There is. I just joined a gun range, which is something I thought I would never hear myself saying. But yes, I just joined a gun range.
That a girl.
These are all baby steps, and it's a walk that we've all made. We've gotten to the guns that we have for a reason.
Christy, I have to ask you a question. All right, you never thought you were going to buy a gun, and you bought a gun. And you never thought you'd join a gun range, and now you have. What do your friends think of all of this?
They think I'm crazy and overreacting, and that there's no need for it, and what about my son? What if he, accidentally pulls the trigger? And, I run a daycare in my home, so then there's even more, I'm even crazier because I have more kids in the house during the day, but, we have a safe, and it's not like we have the guns out. So all around, everyone just thinks I'm crazy.
Can I say that on the female side, on the mom side, my kids were raised in the same type of home. My kids are very mature adults, and never once has a gun acted out against them. But also with that, we educated our children and gave them the opportunity to handle, to shoot, to show to a friend that their family knew they were coming into a house. If there was a potential that they wanted to shoot a firearm, we would call and we would make sure that it was okay with the parents. So we have always stood by the fact that you have got to educate them, because if you don't educate the children, it's curiosity. Yeah. They find it, they think it's a toy, and that's when bad things happen. So the education is all on you, and you have the opportunity to make it an extremely safe experience with not only your child, but your friends or somebody else's that may say, yes, I'm a proponent of this. Teach them, because education is the key to everything you're discussing.
That's what my husband keeps telling me.
Now you have an opportunity to do something really fun. Find a way to get your friends to the range with you, with a good instructor, and say, look, okay, I understand you're not in favor of this, but you ought to at least try it so you have some kind of frame of reference so you know what you're talking about. Take them out. If you're introduced to it correctly with a good instructor, with guns that don't kick too much, they are going to have so much fun. You guys will have a ball together, really.
I will say, when I went to the gun range for my first time, and they started me out on a 22, not on my 38. And when I first did that, I had a lot of fun. It was nothing like I expected. I thought I would hate it. I thought it would kick back a lot. I thought, I'd be sore, but it was nothing like I expected, and I did a lot better than I expected too. I don't know. It was exhilarating. I really liked it. You
know what? 22s are fun. I mean, when you go to the range, shoot a bunch of 22s, it's just flat out fun. Well, congratulations, Christy. I really applaud you. And here's the thing. If that gun that you have now is not what you want, do not keep saying, well, I'm going to keep shooting this. I don't like it. It kicks too much. It's hard for... No, make a change. Go try some others. Get to the range. Rent some guns. Get an instructor. But find one that works. And if it turns out to be a 22, then it's a 22. And that's still a whole lot better than a big pen in your hand.
That's true. Okay.
All right. Well, look, thank you so much for the call. And look, if you have questions further down the line, by all means, give us a call, and we'll tackle them for you, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Absolutely. Tell you what, guys, we ran along with Christy. Let's do this. Let's take a quick break. We got Brian and Bill. Don't go anywhere, guys. We're going to get right back to you. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back.
You use Slip 2000's full line of gun lubricants, including EWL and EWL 30, because you know your guns deserve the best available. It's time to add Slip 2000's Carbon Killer Gun Cleaner. Carbon Killer dissolves carbon and lead on contact, is not toxic, and reusable. Carbon Killer works on all weapons, including handguns, rifles, and machine guns, plus silencers and compensators. Slip 2000. We're all about gun care. Learn more at slip2000.com.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Bata Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
What's important in a gun safe? Security, reliability, safety, good looks? It all comes down to quality. Quality that's built in from the beginning. Liberty Safe has made quality products for 29 years right here in the USA. Trust your guns, your valuables, and your safety to Liberty Safe. Did you ever regret buying quality? I didn't think so. Get the best. Whatever your budget, get a Liberty Safe. LibertySafe.com.
Behind every revolution is a patriot. Just as this great country was founded on the ideals of many, the new Mossberg Patriot is the sum of all that came before it. Reliable, timeless, built to last. The classic American hunting rifle with a heritage forged over generations has come home. Mossberg, built rugged, proudly American.
All right, we are now back. I know I kept Brian and Bill waiting, and we want to get to them. Michelle, I'm so glad you were able to talk with Christy. You know, we always say a 38 Special, 38 revolver is more of an expert's gun, and I got to tell you, I'm not a fan. What I wanted to say was I hate it when somebody starts out a woman with a 38 revolver because it's hard to shoot. I mean, they're great guns, but they're harder to shoot, and they kick a lot, and they're not fun to shoot. Is that fair?
Well, I think you have to be very specific about which firearm you place in their hand, and that comes from the side of my own experiences. Most of these guns, you know, somebody goes into the store and they're like, I want something small, I want something for concealed carry. Okay, are you looking for concealed carry, or you're looking for something that's comfortable to shoot on the range? Because those are completely different issues, and I think that's what has to be. Things. Yep, I think that's what has to be shown to somebody, especially when they're new, like Christy is. These are great for concealed carry. They're lightweight, but because of that, these are the other things that you have to look at. Where this one might be a heavier gun, give you less recoil, easier to shoot. It's not ideal for concealed carry. Right. So
every gun's a compromise.
Yes, it is. And I think it's where patient listening and understanding and trying comes into play. It's just imperative that you try it. You wouldn't buy a car without driving it. Don't do the same thing with a firearm. Shoot it first. I know, right?
And don't let your husband pick out your gun for you.
No, please. I can't express that enough.
Don't do that. And if your husband, don't do that. You will pick the wrong gun. Besides, it's not up to you. It's up to her. It's what fits her hand, what she can shoot. All right, let's do this. Let's go to Brian on line 4 out of California. Brian, thank you so much for your patience.
I saw on the news that Obama is going to have an empty seat at the State of the Union address for victims of gun crime.
Oh, that's what he's going to do, and more theater, huh?
Yeah, so just going back to Fast and Furious, this is somebody who has manufactured victims of gun crime. If you look at Agent Brian Terry and, the uncount hundreds, of people, Mexican citizens who were killed using those guns. The Republicans, they should have an empty seat for those people.
Oh, great idea. If he's going to have an empty seat for victims of gun violence, then the Republicans should have an empty seat for the people who were murdered with the guns supplied by the U.S. government in not a botched operation, but an operation that went exactly as designed, because the operation was designed to put guns into the hands of murderous narco-terrorists in Mexico, and they succeeded. And maybe we're thinking more than 400 people now have been killed with these guns that Obama's Justice Department actually made happen. I love it. Great idea, Brian. Thank you, sir. Bill, Vancouver, Washington, line 2. Hey, Bill.
Hi, Tom.
Hi there.
Hey, I thought you might want to hear my range report on that new Browning 1911 and 380 ACP.
Ooh. Oh, absolutely. I have not had a chance to shoot it, so I am interested.
Yeah, I think it was announced at the SHOT Show last year, and my buddy and I have been trying to find them, and he finally found one at Cabela's down here in Portland area, and fell in love with it and bought it and brought it home. And I got a chance to shoot it. And so I have the pluses and minuses lined up if you want me to kind of run through it.
Yeah, we'd love to know. The three of us are sitting here going, yeah, please tell us.
That's right.
Drool.
That's right.
Well, on the plus side, it's definitely a 1911. It looks like a 1911 from across the room. It's kind of reduced in size, but the fit and finish are absolutely top notch. It's just absolutely beautiful, and even the fact that it has a plastic lower, you wouldn't notice it. It's so well done, and the colors match, and it's just I can't emphasize enough how good it looks.
It's kind of Honey, I Shrunk the 1911.
I think so, yeah, through the hot cycle. It's ridiculously light, even with a full magazine. Don't know how much it weighs, but it can't be a whole lot more than an LCP, which is very surprising. Even my wife loved it, and it's very easy shooting, no recoil to speak of, even with some defense loads in it. In fact, I'm afraid I may have to end up buying one for my wife. She liked it so much.
Oh, there's a theme. There's a theme with this.
I hate when that happens.
Jim, you guys need to get together. Jim and Bill can go off and talk about that. We know
I can't relate to that at all, Bill.
How easy is the slide to function? Because that's always one of the big questions that we get.
I didn't notice that it was very heavy. I didn't pay attention to it particularly, but I think it was fairly light to work.
Awesome.
It's got a double recoil spring on it, and a plastic recoil rod, which was a little surprising, but apparently not a problem. And like Browning says, it's the right size. It'd be very concealable, especially I think for a lady. It's because of its size and its weight.
Is it pretty thin?
Very thin, yeah. The only thing that thickens it is having the ambidextrous safeties on it.
So far, it's sounding awfully good. So what did you find about it that you didn't like?
Well, first of all, the cost. It's pretty spendy. It was like $650.
Okay. Yeah.
It's still very high quality, so that wouldn't be an absolute kill deal for me. I think on the serious issue is the capacity. I think it only holds about 8 rounds, 7+1.
Or maybe it's 7+1, correct. It's by the way, I looked it up. It's 17.5 ounces. Yeah, that is light.
Mm-hmm. So on a 380, you'd expect maybe to get a little bit more capacity out of it, since you're sacrificing some knockdown power.
Well, you know what the answer to that is? You carry 2 of them.
There you go.
He's always an enabler.
You knew I was going to get there, didn't you?
Yeah, well, I haven't been able to afford one yet. Now you got me buying 2.
Or 3 because your wife needs one.
Show me.
That's right.
Maybe my dog does.
Oh, you don't need a car.
Hi, this is Michelle. Stay tuned for more of the After Show. This is Michelle from the Gun Talk After Show. We compiled the best of the after shows for your holiday listening pleasure. Now we get back to it, joining the segment in progress.
Oh, you don't need a car.
Another thing that's probably fixable is the sights are they're target sights. You've got a partridge front sight on it, so it's all black, and it's. I don't know that they'd be very good for a defense sight, and maybe there's a way to paint them up or get some replacement sights for that. That was kind of a drawback to me.
I'd get me a can of Day Glow Orange and spray that puppy down.
Yeah, be sure and cover up the rest of the beautiful finish, though, because you wouldn't want to hurt that.
Right.
True. Okay.
I guess the other downside is, this is my personal thinking, is it has the drawbacks of a 1911 for carrying cocked and locked as a defense round, defense gun. I used to carry a Colt Mustang in 380, and one time I went to pull it out of my holster, and the safety was off, and it just scared the devil out of me. And I think that's still something to think about when you carry a 1911 for everyday carry.
Well, it's interesting because the things that you mentioned as negatives or cons are, at the very least, what's good about it is they are things you would know before you bought the gun. You got the magazine capacity, okay, you know what that is before you go in. The cost, you know what that is before you go in. And certainly the fact that it's a 1911, you know about that. The sights I get, you can say, okay, maybe not perfect for self-defense, but that's the good part is sights are interchangeable. We can swap those out. But for a shooter, you like the way it's shot, I guess is what you're saying.
Oh, it's just beautiful. Amazingly, and I guess it must be in the balance because it sure isn't in the weight. Or maybe it's the fact your web of your hand is high up on it, right under the barrel, and it keeps the recoil and the flipping not to be a problem.
Or it might just be because John Browning was a freaking genius.
Yeah, that's a given.
That's right. We just start from that.
Yeah, 1911. Well, that'll never catch on. That design.
Yeah, right. How long will that hang around? Well, that is a great range report, Bill. Thank you so much. I have been very curious about this pistol and just have not gotten one in to try it. So that is terrific. Now, Bill, the question is, are you going to buy one?
No, I don't think so. I have more handguns than I could probably carry if I swapped them out one every day for a couple of weeks. And if I'm going to that low a capacity, I think I'd rather have my single stack 9. Otherwise, if I'm going with the 380, I'm going to have a double stack.
But it sure sounds like it'd be a real nice range gun, especially for introducing somebody into shooting.
Yeah, a good kit gun, for out in the woods or something.
Yeah.
When you're fishing.
But I'm kind of with you. If I'm going to go single stack, I'd like to have as much as I can get out of each round. So, different choices. I mean, I went ahead and bought a Glock 42 380, but it's a good bit smaller, and it's kind of one of those, it fits into this little bitty narrow niche. We all do the same thing, don't we? We find excuses or reasons for getting stuff. Bill, thank you for the call, sir. You guys, I know you're.
I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I have no idea. It is an interesting gun, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's interesting that he said the recoil was, from his conversation, that it was so, I guess, reduced or not a lot to it, because, man, sometimes you get into those smaller, lighter weight guns and you start to feel the recoil because they are lighter weight. So there's got to be something to
I'm thinking that two-stage spring comes into play.
Yeah, got to be something to that.
Probably. But, and the other thing is, look, 17.5 ounces is not LCP weight. That's heavier than an LCP.
Right.
Yeah, and also you got a little bit longer barrel, you got a little bit longer grip, you got something to hang on to. That's going to make the recoil much more manageable. And
to me, I understand what he's talking about. And of course, like we discussed last week with Jim's belly and stuff, we understand sights. But to me, that would be a plus, because most of the time, these little guns have just nubbins of a sight that you can barely see. So that is a huge plus for me. I'd love to have one in. We haven't gotten one in yet. We'll keep searching.
Think about this as a gun for introducing somebody to shooting. You have thin gun, not heavy, not a lot of recoil, and a really nice single-action trigger pull. Wow, another reason to buy another gun.
There's a niche.
Another week, another gun. Here we go.
That's your New Year's resolution, right?
That's right. One a week is all we ask. It's like the almond growers, right? Oh, goodness gracious. I really did like Christy's call. I'm kind of sorry that I'm not saying that a Smith & Wesson 38 is a bad gun, obviously, because I have several of them and like them. It's just as a first gun, I think anybody's 38 Special is probably not a great way to go.
I think it takes some consideration as to what your real objective is to your purchase. Are you looking for a concealed gun, or, because that depends on whether you get something lightweight. I understand what you're saying as far as the caliber goes, but I mean, they've been around for a long time, and as far as ease of use, obviously revolver is the easiest thing that you can get into, and there's always the dynamics that happen in our store of, well, there's no safety. Well, the biggest safety you have on anything, because it's mechanical, it can fail. It's not, you try to use it, but it can fail, is right between the ears. Yep. Without being rude to anybody. Safety. Yeah, and it's truly training, and when you pull from the holster, like we talked with her, not having your finger on the trigger right away, it's on the side of the frame, and there's a lot that goes into this. It's not just as easy as going to the store and picking out a gun.
Well, we tend to think it is sometimes because we're so used to them that you forget the first time you had a semi in your hand and went, what's this?
Right.
How's this work?
Yeah, where are these controls? What does this button do? What does this lever do?
Riddle me this, Batman. Has anybody ever made a revolver with a safety?
Yes.
That's all I need to know. Can I buy one?
We don't know. We don't know about them anymore for good reason.
Ah.
Why?
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, now here's one. There actually was an automatic revolver.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It was okay. Imagine the grip up to just below the cylinder as being one half of the gun, and then the rest of the frame above the cylinder is the second half of the gun, and those two halves are mated together on a rail. Okay? And when you fire the gun, The whole upper mechanism slides rearward like a slide on the frame, on the grip, and it engages a catch, and it actually rotates the cylinder, cocks the hammer, and then the whole frame goes forward, ready to fire again. Yeah, but if you look up automatic revolver, you will see a picture of this strange thing. I'm trying to remember if that was a Web. Can't remember. I want to say Webley, but I'm not sure if that's correct.
What if Crossbeard makes a holster for that and call him Monday?
Yeah, give him a holler. Say, look, I'm going to send you a gun. I'm sure you could sell a zillion of these, right?
Oh, yeah, at least one.
Yeah, and maybe. Automatic revolver. There you go. An automatic revolver.
You're sending me a link, I take it.
Oh, Webley Fosbury automatic revolver. There it is. Picture of it. Son of a gun. It's all on the Wikipedia, so it has to be real, right?
And accurate.
Yeah, if you look up Webley Fosbury, Fosbery, automatic revolver, made in the UK from 1901 to 1915. Did not last as long as the 1911. How about that?
Wow, there's even YouTubes of guys shooting them. How cool.
Is that cool? So there you go. So somebody said, oh, that's stupid. What's he know? It's automatic revolver. I go, well, actually, there was one way back. No, I don't have one of those.
But it is only January.
That's true.
This time.
That's true. I'm only 2 weeks into the year, and let's see.
Well,
We have that Ruger American pistol over here, and let's see. Got to go get my gun of the week here.
GOW, as we say in the business.
GOW, that's right. Or, as I say down here, golly.
Thanks for listening to the After Show. We've got more coming at you after this break.
It's the next generation target pistol, the SW22 Victory from Smith & Wesson. Stainless steel frame, interchangeable match barrel, thumb safety, fiber optic sights, and a Picatinny rail. The SW22 Victory is ready for anything, targets or small game. Also available with a threaded barrel or cryptic camo finish. And it's backed by the Smith & Wesson Lifetime Service Policy. Learn more about the SW22 Victory at smith-wesson.com.
If you're like me, you don't have money to burn, but you still want to buy guns, ammo, and accessories. That's why we created Gun Dealio. That's a free smartphone app. Just download it and start getting the deals. Could be discounts, offers of free magazines for your gun, or you could be the first to hear about new stuff from gun makers. Here's how it works. With Gun Dealio on your phone, you get alerts when you enter a gun store. Special deals, you know. You don't have to do a thing. It'll do a lot of other cool things, like let you watch gun videos and listen to Gun Talk podcast. Plus, check it anytime for hundreds of deals and offers. Getting more while spending less. Smart, huh? Gun Dealio. Made in America. Gluten-free. At the App Store and Google Play or GunDealio.com. Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
Meet Sid. Sid doesn't check for traffic updates. Sid does simplify suppressor ownership. Meet Sid, the new interactive kiosk that makes the fingerprinting and paperwork of silencer applications quick, easy, and pain-free. If you're ready to own a silencer, make time to meet Sid, your new buddy in the silencer business. Available at selected Powered by Silencer shop retailers.
What do you do, Michelle, when you get a husband and wife comes in and the husband is doing all the talking and wanting to buy this gun and select a gun for the wife?
It's a little difficult because...
It's tricky, isn't it?
Yeah, because there's times when all the communication or all the questions are from the husband, or this is what I want her to get. Be like, okay, I understand that. However, and this is the way I approach it, my husband and I obviously are both into firearms. Neither him nor I carry the same gun, and there's a reason for that. What works for him, I can shoot, but doesn't work for me in the aspect of that's what my go-to piece is.
It's not the best choice for you.
Right. And so I try to break it down just like I did with Christy, or in conversation thereafter, is what is the intent of the firearm? What are you wanting to make this purchase for? What reason? Are you just wanting to get education? Are you only wanting to look at concealed carry option? Those are all determining factors, and it takes some quiet consideration, and it takes an awful lot of time in private communication between the three people, the salespeople and the two customers. And it really comes down to the point of, I understand what you're saying. However, I know from my experience, this is what has worked the best. Or if I can let you try this gun, you'll understand. And we have the unique ability, because of our range, to allow them to shoot not obviously the new guns in the showcase, but something that's very similar or the exact same model as what is there. And I just think it's imperative to allow the woman to find her own gun. If she finds something, and this is another thing too that I use, if you find a gun that you like, you will become an enthusiast. And then that will take motivation in a completely different direction, to where she is now coming to the firing range, and she is now bringing her friends, and she is now educating the children. And it's a completely different tool at that point in time.
Well, you heard Christy say when she went to the range and she shot the .22, she was surprised. She had so much fun. She did real well with it. And then when she was talking about the .38, she wasn't having much fun, and she, was not really crazy about it. So she had a really nice gun in her hand and was having fun. But Michelle, I want to go back to one thing you said here, because I want to make sure that everybody gets it. You made a great point, because people will say, well, I want to buy a self-defense pistol. And I'll say, is this for the home? Well, I might carry it, but mostly it's for the home. At which point I try to say, then get a gun for the home. Because those, while they can be the same, chances are those are two different guns.
Right.
What is the specific thing this is for? Or is it a gun you're mostly going to shoot at the range? And if that's the case, let's get you a really nice range gun, which very well may end up being a .22.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's very easy to train on a .22. And if you're a revolver person, get a .22 revolver. If you're a semi-auto person, get a semi-auto. I mean, it's cheap. It's, like I said, it's excellent training. There's no recoil, so there's no intimidation factor. And if you ever wanted to introduce anybody to the sport, that's the only place to start, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree. I would, if I could be king, everybody would start shooting. Their first 10 range experiences would be with the .22 before anybody moves them up to center fire, so that they could absolutely fall in love with shooting and understand it and get into it before they do anything else.
Yeah. How many times have you seen somebody put like a Red Hawk in a newbie's hand?
Oh, gosh.
And then they're laughing.
Not around me,
buddies.
they don't.
Yeah, exactly.
No, not around me. I won't even let it happen anymore. I mean, I have become somewhat intolerant of jerks who want to hurt people with guns as a way of being funny.
Oh, but it's funny, man. Look at how much she's scared and intimidated.
Let me videotape it and put it out there on YouTube. But, how many times have you run across that on a public range, Tom, where they're taking their friends out? I mean, even guys with other guys. Like, don't be a jerk. Give them something that's going to encourage them to stay with the momentum of shooting.
No, because there actually are, but the problem is they really are jerks. They're bullies. And this is supposedly a way that they can do it that is acceptable.
It's a machismo.
I want to switch on you something. I got a buddy. Actually, he's in the Detroit area. He got into guns in the last few years. I know him through aviation. Then his wife did. Now they're open carrying. They've become evangelists there, and now he's become an RSO. He's a range safety officer.
Cool.
And he was telling me about this match that he was working, and it's all cops. He said, let's see, I've been swept. He said, I've had them clear the gun and walk away with a round in the chamber. And so like he's going through all this stuff. I said, well, did you DQ him? Or did you disqualify him? Well, no. I said, stop. I said, there's only one reason that you're there. That's to keep everybody safe. And I don't care if it's the chief of police. If he sweeps people, he's DQ'd. On the spot, that's it. You're done. Put the guns away. You're not shooting this match anymore. You've been disqualified.
Hi, Hi, this is Jim from the Gun Talk After Show. Tom was cool enough to give us the holiday off, and even cooler to let us play some after shows for you. So we're going to dive into this one in progress.
Somebody on Twitter says, hearing bits and pieces of the town hall meeting sound bites. And what I'm understanding is that Obama is totally ignorant. Because he made all these crazy statements as though they're fact, and you're going, no, that's actually factually, not like an opinion, that's factually incorrect.
Right.
So
and taking credit for
something.
Yeah, we're going to have to make people get FFLs if they're going to be selling guns as a career.
Okay.
That kind of stuff. I've been doing all this stuff anyway, and it must just be to the people that have zero gun knowledge that don't know that the stuff's already in place and not being supported, not being enforced.
But I think like the conversation always goes is they don't know. So they believe that what he's doing is everything that's in favor because we all want to, quotes, be safe, unquote. Yeah, we do. But the law doesn't change the safety approach of anything.
Oh, no doubt.
I will say this. The AP, Associated Press, actually looked at his talk, and they went through and just said, basically false.
Oh, they fact-checked him?
They fact-checked him, and then they said, and this would have done nothing in all of these mass shootings. They just went through the whole deal and basically said, this is just a bunch of hooey.
The AP?
The AP.
Wow, maybe things are turning a little bit.
Who knows? You know what it is? The AP is not seeking access. And the president buys off the media by paying them with access. Anderson Cooper is not going to ask him hard questions because if he does, he's not going to get this gig next time with the White House. They're going to go to somebody else.
Right. Mm-hmm. Job security.
And so they're basically, it's payola, only the pay is access, and they don't want to lose that. So that's why they don't ask them the questions that they should, and maybe even they know to ask.
And the same reason they pre-screen the questions coming to the president.
Oh, yeah, because it's all orchestrated theater. Exactly right. Well, with that in mind, I can hardly wait for this week's State of the Union address with more anti-gun theater.
Jim, wake up.
You got something else you're going to be doing? Okay.
We lost him there for a minute.
It's your turn. I am emailing you a slapogram to deliver.
So just forward that over.
Just go ahead and get it. Actually, I'll just send it to Jim. Just self-administer.
Okay.
Hey, wow. All right, guys. Well, I'll be spending the week getting ready for SHOT Show, heading out in about a week, and then we'll be reporting back. We'll actually be doing a show from the floor of the SHOT Show.
Hey, exciting.
Which is always fun to see who shows up and what goes on. So it'll be cool. We'll see all the new
this
stuff.
year they're probably going to be up to 20 or 30 booths, I bet.
Yeah.
I think it's 760,000 square feet.
Wow.
That's just on the one floor, though, isn't it? They still do stuff in the basement.
No, that's the whole thing.
That's cumulative.
I mean, it's huge. It's not as big as CES, but it's still pretty big. I think they said if you went to every booth, it's 4 days. If you went to every booth, you could spend like 30 seconds at every booth.
Oh, my gosh.
4 days. So people say, well, did you see it all? I said, I didn't even try. You don't even, you can't.
Impossible.
And basically you just do what you can do. And what you do is you ask all your buddies, did you see anything interesting? What'd you see? And then you're all going, oh, okay.
I was just going to say, you have to take a friend and map out where you're going to go and don't waver from that plan. And then your friend goes to somebody else's booth and you compare notes.
If you saw my calendar, I am scheduled every 30 minutes for the entire time, somewhere I'm supposed to be. So that's just how it. If you don't do that, you won't get it done. And even at that, you don't get it all done. It's just what it is.
Right.
So, but it's fun. Hey, it's fun. And about half the time I come back with no voice. So I'm going to be working on that one too.
Yeah. Well, it's too bad that the subject material is something you're not real well informed of or like.
Yeah, that's right. Why would I ever be talking? Why would I be talking a lot while I was there, right?
Just take it all
right,
in.
guys. Well, I'll report back with the things that you must have once I have put my eyes and my hands on them.